Ladies and gentlemen, all the viewers at home, Sanbonani, and welcome to The Rising Star. My name is Bihim. Some of you know me as Mr. Juice SA. So the show here too is more focused on production. It could be the filmmaking, it could be DOP, it could be photography, but we're going to bring you everyone who's within the space of production. So namhlanje guest yesebaluleke kakhulu iphuma kwa Fave Media Production ubhuti uSiphiwe kunjani?
Kunjani Butwana?
Yaphila. Siyabonga for pulling through. Please tell us more. Just take me back to your childhood before you became this big businessman who's collecting all these awards, film awards. Just take us back. USiphiwe coming up.
You're making me shy. You call me a big
Don't be shy.
I'm still hustling, you know. So basically, my name is Siphiwe Mbata, but most people call me Siphiwe Mbata. And then I grew up in Soweto, in Middlelands, before moving at the young age to Protea. And then I grew up acting in the film industry, in various TV commercials. So I entered the television space when I was in primary school. So a gentleman came. I was one of those guys, you know, if we had to do a play, you know, I would be the one, you know, putting the group together. Actually, Mesowina, because of I was not shy and the class would laugh, the teachers would be entertained. Yes. So when this gentleman was studying his agency, acting agency, came to my school, and then Wakuluma with the teachers, and my teacher was like, you know, there's a boy, Siphiwe Mbata, you know, he's not shy. You need to get him. Exactly. What, you know, give him a chance. So I went and then I joined the agency, and then I started going to auditions. I did commercials such as Boston Medicine, Netbank Soccer, Pepsi Soccer, where I met your well-known footballers such as your Messi, Lionel Messi, Didier Drogba, Thierry Henry, and then I also did one, you know, for London Olympics short film. You know, actually this short film that I acted in helped London to win the bid to host the 2012 Olympics. So when London won this, they took me there in 2006, and then 2012 I went back again there.
Manje kuza kanjani ke so ne production yakho so matasa when some ups and downs ungene kanjani ke manje on the business side of things, moving from screen?
Yeah, so after high school I went to study film and television at after film school.
Yeah,
here
I see after.
Yes, I studied there, and then I graduated 2014. So once I graduated, and then 2015 I interned in the industry, and then 2016 that's when I started my
production.
That's when I started Favor Media, and then since then I've been, you know, pushing Favor Media and stuff.
So not as an individual, but the company yako, what was the breakthrough for the company?
The breakthrough came when we managed to license our first 2 feature films, which were self-funded, you know, which I did in 2016 and 2017, IFA, and a comedy feature film called 4-5, you know. So the broadcaster Mnet and Zanzi Magic, they licensed these 2 feature films at the same time. And then that's when really the breakthrough for the film production company came.
So you went just like that, you teamed up with the broadcaster, or maybe you did other projects without having a broadcaster, maybe a project online. How did it all start?
Initially when I started when I was interning. Then I started doing, I saw there's an opportunity online, you know, nowadays we live in a digital era where now you don't have to wait for funding.
Now, and in that space, you don't need anyone's approval. As long as you just come to with your content, you're holding. So
exactly. And then I saw there are film festivals, you know, around the world that are looking for content. You don't have to shoot a big budget movie. You know, some festivals actually want cell phone made movies, you know. So I saw, okay, there's a space, you know, in the festival space. Then I said, okay, let me start with my doing short films. So I did short films, posted them on YouTube. But then I didn't even have equipment. So a friend of mine had been working in the industry, and then he managed to buy his own sound equipment. And then a friend of mine that we went to film school with, he had bought a camera and stuff. So I managed to come. We teamed up. Something we used to do in university, because in film school we would form a crew and
groups.
Exactly. So we did the same thing in the industry. After I had started a film production company, we did a 5-minute short film, posted it online, grew from there.
And the response was great also.
Yeah, the response, people were like, this is interesting, we'd like to see more. Then I was like, you know what, I think it's time for me to do a feature film based on the experience that I got from doing the short film.
So so that transition now, moving from having things displaying your content online to now teaming up with the broadcaster, how was that switch?
To be honest, it was not easy because bear in mind that when you start a production company, you don't have equipment, you don't have funding. So now, how do you now get into that space where a broadcaster can license your work? So with me, before I started, I called the broadcaster. There were people that I studied with who had graduated before me, and then we keep in contact, we speak. Some of them will tell you that I'm freelancing when. Then I ask them, okay, so who's in charge of buying content at the broadcaster, because I see that they play local movies. And they said, no, you can inquire and ask this person. And then I called. And then when I called, I said, what kind of movies are you looking for? And then they told me, okay, these are the kind of movies we are looking for. We are looking for your, local movies, movies shot in a township, movies with Venek, family-driven stories. And then that's when I wrote the script of my first feature film after speaking with the broadcaster.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are still watching Rising Stars. My name is Bihim. We're going to take a short break. Masibuya ngifuna ukuthi sithi shungu indaba yesikole mina nobuthi Siphiwe. So ningayindawo. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you are still watching Rising Stars, Mr. Juice S.A. Nobudu Siphiwe from Favor Media. So, just one thing that we always get it twisted. Would you really recommend or advise someone to go and study for this field?
Yeah, definitely I would advise, any, people who are really passionate about the film industry to go to film school, because most of the stuff that I'm doing, I learned, at university. For example, right now, since I'm managing my own film production company, I've, written, directed and produced, I think, over 10 feature films. And majority of these feature films, and this is since 2016, and a lot of these feature films have been, I think about 10 have been licensed by the broadcaster. And I do script writing, producing, I also edit as well. So I know post as well. So these are things that I learned in film school. So definitely I would advise, people who are passionate about the industry, to really go to film school to learn. Script writing, I really learned a lot about that specific field, because it starts with the script, and if you get the script right, if you understand, your plot points, your characters, your character journey, your protagonist, it makes things easy, So, but it doesn't mean that if you can't go to film school, then you cannot enter the film industry, because not everyone is fortunate, to go to film school. It's very expensive, they are very expensive. So not everyone can go to film school. But it doesn't mean that if you didn't go to film school, you cannot enter the industry, you know, because some people have that natural talent, you know. So if you have the talent, you can maybe, you know, you can teach yourself, you can look for companies where you can intern.
Get a mentor, things like that.
Exactly.
And
So
then with the knowledge, it's really cool.
Exactly, yeah.
No, so manje, this show, we called you here because you are a well-experienced filmmaker, and there's a young, very talented lady who's going to join us just shortly. She's within the space, so more mold and she, and then if she also have like questions, but we're just gonna have a conversation because she's a young lady and she's entering this space, but I'm sure Kona is in the nervous and you can perhaps help with that. So ladies and gentlemen, we have our next guest. She's gonna chill with us, mina nobhuti Siphiwe. Sikhulume nje kube mnandi, sisakhulumayo indaba ye-filmmaking ngayindawo. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still watching Rising Stars. Mr. Stars S1 Ep1 from Favor Media is still here, and right now we are joined by the young and talented Precious. She's studying filmmaking, but yeah, for people who don't know you at home,
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Precious Sialeza, a current student at Boston Media House, and I major in television. And I'm an aspiring producer, videographer, video editor. So yeah.
Hey, as I major in television. Big English. Now Stars owns a media a film production company. Favor Media has been doing the most within the space of filmmaking. So isn't you interested in zona easy because
now that I've been going for internships, trying to showcase my talent to the world. How do you advise young creatives to adapt to other multiple crew roles or production roles in big companies?
Yeah, I would say it depends on what you are passionate about, you know. If at school you are majoring in producing, if you are also passionate about directing, if you are passionate about editing, then it's something you have to adapt when you enter the film industry. You know, you have to be flexible. With me as well, when I was in film school, I didn't do editing. You know, yet now I find myself editing my feature films, for example. You know, so it's something you just need to be flexible, but also, you know, it needs to be something you are passionate about, because you don't want to find yourself editing and yet that thing, you know, it's something that's boring you, you know. Exactly, you know. So, but I would advise you, you know, that in the industry it's better to know a lot of things. It helps a lot, because if, let's say, there's no producing jobs, you know that you can do, you know, camera.
Yeah.
You know you can do editing, for example. You know, you can do focus, you know, pulling. You know, it doesn't mean that if there's no producing jobs, then
as long as you can adapt to other fields.
Yeah.
So, because she's still at school, what was difficulties or the challenges that you had while you were still a student? Because I'm sure she's also going through the most. Sometimes you feel like maybe you chose the wrong field, though you know very well you are passionate about it. But when we were overcome doubts,
to be honest, you know, that's a great question, because I remember even when I was in third year was really tough. The reason for that is because when we are in first year, we have a lot of crew members. So, for example, we'll have, let's say, 15 productions. If I'm studying producing and you are studying producing, they will put us, you know, we'll each produce our own production, you know. Another person, if you're studying directing, will form a crew. But now the problem is, in third year, a lot of people, they either dropped out, but we know the number is no longer the same, which means that other productions, they end up not having, let's say you have 10 productions, yet you have 3 editors. You know, other productions end up, they suffer and they don't have editors. So with me, that's what happened. My production didn't have an editor for my graduation film. So that's the main challenge that I encountered. And then I ended up teaching myself how to edit while I was in that year. So you can imagine I was majoring in producing. I had assignments for producing, yet I was pushing for my movie to be done because I knew that this was my graduation movie and it had to be complete. So I ended up teaching myself how to edit. And at the time, I didn't even have a car, for example. So you finish late, when you use public transport. So, but those are the challenges that I faced. But I didn't let that bring me down because I knew what I wanted. I knew where I was. Already I was thinking about the next 5 years, where I want to see myself. So I didn't let that moment bring me down. Actually, it was a learning curve, and I'm really grateful that that thing happened because if I didn't face that thing, I wouldn't know how to edit now. I wouldn't know certain things which I learned through that experience.
Thank you so much.
So, because when you guys are at school, sometimes on my side, from the stories that I have had, or also things that I have also experienced at school, sometimes I'm at the facilities, or you want to book this camera, maybe you want to shoot your own documentary, something, it's on a task. So with escalating equipment, as a student, as I'm a student. But how do you then deal?
Oh, at school we have equipment and then we're given days to book them. So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you want to shoot a specific documentary or film or whatever you want,
you must book in advance.
Yes, they teach you to be very alert that when you must meet the deadlines, and also you need to be creative at that short space of time. So that's why you need to book in advance so that you can help yourself to meet the deadlines and also help yourself to grow in future.
Okay, so looking at the space though, like, how can you rate Africa in terms of filming? Do you think it's in high growth? Because now school in do you think there is growth? There is a space?
Yeah, definitely. How I see it, Africa, is, I can't say the future, but it's the present. There's a lot of talent in Africa. There's so many opportunities in Africa. Like with me now, recently I was in Nairobi, Kenya. I was attending the 2020 Lake International Pan-African Film Festival.
I saw that through your social media.
Yes. And then where two of my feature films, comedy feature films, the payout and my chance. And actually the payout, the broadcaster is licensing it now to speak, but they were playing at the festival in Nairobi, Kenya. And then the NFVF, the National Film and Video Foundation, they actually sponsored me to go to Nairobi, Kenya. So the festival was from the 3rd of November until the 7th, and then we won Best Feature Film and we won Best Actor. The actor in Machanza won the Best Actor award. So, Africa, there's so many opportunities because the festival was not in Europe, it was in Africa, and we went to Africa, which shows that there's so many opportunities within Africa. There's so many talents. I mean, look at Bollywood. Bollywood is big. Look at South Africa. We have amazing telenovelas being released on TV. We have amazing TV series. So I think also my advice to people who are in school, would be to with the people that you studied with, come out and form crews. Start shooting content together. Whether it's a 2-minute short film, whether it's a 3-minute, but do something together. Don't wait to get jobs because the industry is too small to absorb everyone. Because imagine when I finished that's like 6 years, and imagine since then people have been graduating. So there's so many people within the industry, but the industry is too small to absorb everyone. So I would advise young people in university, those who just graduated, to come up and start their own things. Shoot your own content. Like with me, for example, I also premiere my movies at the Bioscope Cinema. So every movie that I do, I premiere it. So young people can do that. They can shoot something, premiere it at the cinema, invite people to come and watch it. They can do screenings, they can sell tickets. So I would advise people to do their own things.
Form their own groups, form their
Exactly.
own organizations, and then they start working from there.
Exactly. And if you look at it,
It's really
Yes.
and if you look at it, that's what they were actually teaching us in film school. They would teach us that to say, form a crew, work together, and that's something that's, I don't know what happens, but when we enter the industry, like everyone goes there, I'm working there, another person has changed.
So the reason why we actually brought her here, because you are more experienced within the space and Luseskodin. So I just want her to also feel free to ask questions. So now we'll just peel it out.
Okay, as a media enthusiast, what are other platforms that you would advise me to post or convey my work?
There's platforms that, you have your Film Freeway.
Okay.
Film Freeway is a platform that people use to post film festivals. So you don't need to pay to create a profile. You create your profile and then you can upload your short film, your comedy, and then you can search for film festivals around the world. And then some festivals they do ask for fees, but some festivals they are free. So you will check which festivals are free. If let's say your budget is $10, you will check for festivals that are around that margin.
Yeah.
And then there's festivals from all over the world. So that's something that I would advise anyone who's doing content to do.
And it's actually a legit platform. It's a legit platform.
Because that's how I submitted to the festival in Kenya.
Yeah.
I used that platform, and I submitted last year. Already, for example, with applications for the festival next year. Now I find that they are also opening. So it's not just there's festivals all over. There's festivals in Uganda, in Europe, everywhere, even in South Africa, there are film festivals happening. So you can search there, But some festivals they're not on Film Freeway. You can ask around. Some people can tell you about a festival happening, for example, here in town that is not on Film Freeway.
Yeah.
You can inquire and submit but it's very important to submit your content in festivals because that gives you exposure. Because there you get to network, you get to meet.
Yeah.
Yes, YouTube, social media, it's a great platform, but also film festivals are very, very important.
Cool. Yeah, very important. So on your side now, because you're doing your last year, from the first year and then now it's your last year, are you winning?
Yes, I've joined competitions such as 48-hour festival.
Oh, I see. I see. Do you see it?
I saw it. Yes, I saw it.
48-hour competitions, film competitions. So that's where I tried to showcase my experience and also adapt to other multiple crew roles in that film.
Oh no, that's crazy.
It's
Yo,
amazing.
guys, we're gonna chill here and speak filming. But anyways, we are also running out of time. So thank you so much, Budispio, for pulling through. Thank you so much, Precious. But now, if people wanna see more of your work, when Spio, where can they just go and view your stuff?
People can check my email. It's cpiwe@gmail.com. And then also on Instagram, cpiwe, even Favor Media, it's the Favor Media. And then our website, it's www.favormedia.co.za. And if people want to when we're shooting, we are open to giving people an opportunity
To come through and you see.
Exactly. So it's not only film graduates, but also people who are
passionate about the film.
Because we are open to that. We are giving opportunities to people who are passionate. Even people who've acted in our movies, for example, they didn't start. It's not people who studied only, but people as well who are talented and are passionate. We are really open to giving them opportunities. People must not, for example, send me a WhatsApp and come on, please send me an email or something like. Well, people are
they end up abusing your numbers.
Exactly. So, but we are open to giving opportunities to people. We don't mind. I don't have a problem with that. And then most of our movies we shoot them around Johannesburg, but we recently shot a movie in Durban, and also in Nelspruit, so we are moving outside of Johannesburg, but most of the time we are shooting in Johannesburg, places like Soweto. I think 80% of our movies were shot in Soweto. So if
The
you're
locations
around-
are great there. There's a lot of stories to tell about Soweto. So I guess.
Yeah.
And how can people get in touch with you? Because maybe someone is watching is like, I have this big company, she can come through and assist us here and there. You know, they also need your experience. So how can people get to be in touch with you?
Okay, you can check out my social media pages, She Precious, at Instagram, Facebook, She Precious. Yeah, thank you.
Hi guys, thank you so much. But we're gonna have Amadisa Zwabo right here on the screen. My name is Mr. Juices A, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Rising Stars. We're gonna see you guys next week when we bring you another experienced individual within the space of filming. You understand? You realize?